Does formula mystery help keep Coke afloat? London, CNN. Coca-Cola, the world's ubiquitous brown fizzy drink, is staying afloat as a soda market shrinks, and many point to a marketing strategy around the so-called secret recipe as key to its resilience in a struggling industry. The Coca-Cola Company, which published its full-year result Tuesday, recorded a 5% drop in net income to $8.6 billion that year, down from $9 billion in 2012, as it faced outgoing global macroeconomic challenges, according to its chief executive, Mukhtar Kent. Volume grew 2% for the year, which it said was below our expectation and long-term growth target, with sparkling beverages recording a slight increase of 1%, led by Coca-Cola. Globally, soda drink sales have been shrinking as customers turn to water, fruit drinks, and healthier alternatives. The trend has hit Coke and other market players such as PepsiCo and Dr. Pepper, and while its primary competitor, PepsiCo, depends on its snack business to buoy the declining soda sales, Coke announced further investment into its marketing. In a tough market, one strategy that brand experts credit Coke's relative strength with is the mystery around the much-hyped secret recipe. The very idea of mystery attracts attention and is often seen as an element of equality, says social psychologist and marketing expert Ben Boyer, lecturer at London School of Economics and ESCP Europe Business School. A typical customer would think that it must be a valuable product if they are doing all these things to protect the recipe. Coca-Cola's secret recipe story, on which it has centered advertising campaigns and built into its corporate museum, reaches back nearly a century. According to the multinational's website, the original recipe was only written down in 1919, more than half a century after a reported morphine addict and pharmacist John Pemberton invented the drink in 1866. Until then, it was passed down by word of mouth. The formula was finally committed to paper when a group of investors led by Ernest Woodruff took out a loan to purchase the company in 1919. As collateral, he provided a written record of the Coca-Cola secret formula. Coke said in a statement on each side. Since the 1920s, the document said locked in a bank in Atlanta, until Coca-Cola decided to emphasize the secret in its marketing strategy. 86 years later, Coca-Cola moved the recipe into a purpose-built vault within the World of Coca-Cola, the company's museum in Atlanta. The ambience is made complete by red lighting and fake smoke. Coca-Cola has always claimed only 2 senior executives know the formula at any given time, although they have never revealed names or positions. But according to an advertising campaign based around the recipe, they can't travel on the same plane. The vault, like one straight from a film, has a palm scanner, a numerical code pad, and massive steel door. Inside its walls, there's another safe box with more security features, and inside that, a metal case containing what its owners called the most guarded trade secret in the world, a piece of paper with, according to Coca-Cola, a recipe inside. But Mark Pendergrast, author of For God, Country and Coca-Cola, is skeptical. They keep the formula secret, partly in order to increase sales with a sense of special mystery and to prevent competition, but also to keep people from knowing how cheap the ingredients were and how large the profits, he says. The company has never patented the formula, saying to do so would require its disclosure, and once the patent expired, anyone would be able to use that recipe to produce a generic version of the world-famous drink. The secrecy creates a natural curiosity about the product itself. Consumers are more likely to try to find out the recipe, Boyer says, adding it creates a legend around Coca-Cola's flagship drink. Scores of recipes have emerged through the decades. Their authors usually claim to have cracked the original recipe by getting hold of antique documents. So far, Coke has rejected all of them as fantasy, saying there is only one real thing. Mark Pendergast's book includes 2 versions of the original formula. One is a facsimile in the handwriting of Frank Robinson, the unsung hero of Coca-Cola, who named the drink, wrote the famous script logo, manufactured the drink in its early days, and advertised it, he says. Does he think the recipe is genuine? Yes, I think that both of the Coca-Cola formulas in my book are the real thing. Versions of the original formula for Coca-Cola, he says. In the end, the exact formula isn't really the issue, he says. Pendergrass reiterates a tale told in his book, in which he speaks to a Coca-Cola spokesperson who points out that even if its competitors got hold of the formula, they wouldn't be able to compete. Why would anyone go out of their way to buy Yum Yum, which is really just like Coca-Cola but costs more, where they can buy the real thing anywhere in the world? He was told. Tensions high in Ukraine after at least 21 died in fiery clashes. Kiev, Ukraine. CNN. Downtown Kiev was aglow in fire early Wednesday as demonstrators, undeterred by a bloody day on the streets, staked their climb to the heart of the Ukrainian capital, and they hope the heart of the country itself. Such flames have been a constant for 3 months, acting as fiery barricades all around Kiev's Maidan, or Independence Square, for protesters. Yet the flames grew more ominous on Tuesday, as at least 21 people died in fresh clashes between government forces and activists. What began with protests over President Viktor Yanukovych backpedaling from a trade pact with the European Union, a move that the opposition maligned, accusing Yanukovych of trying to cozy up to Russia rather than the West, has spawned into something much larger. In addition to new exactions, the opposition is calling for constitutional reforms to transfer more power from the presidency to the parliament. Yanukovych and his allies have responded with some concessions, even offering places in government to opposition leaders. But on again, talks have gone nowhere, with the opposition refusing to back politically and from its positions in the center of Kiev. None of that changed after a face-to-face meeting overnight between Yanukovych and opposition leader Vitaly Klitschko. Speaking to reporters afterward, Klitschko said there effectively was no discussion. According to his Ukrainian Democratic Alliance for Reform Party, the president demanded protesters stop the standoff and put down their weapons, an accusation that political claim is unfounded. I think the authorities should immediately pull back the police and stop the blood, because people are dying. Klitschko said. I told Yanukovych this. How can we negotiate when there is blood being spilled? Unfortunately, he does not understand it. That this day of political unrest, Tuesday's violence followed what seemed like a rare breakthrough. Protesters pulled back Sunday from Kiev's city hall and unlocked streets in the city center after the government said it dropped charges against those arrested in the political unrest. Then everything fell apart Tuesday. The Speaker of Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament's refusal to allow amendments that would limit the President's power and restore the Constitution to what it was in 2004 angered many in the opposition. The government's prosecutor general, meanwhile, accused the opposition of breaking the truth and therefore setting the stage for the crackdown. For the sake of pursuing their own political interests, they neglected all previously reached agreements and put lives and the peace of millions of Kiev residents under threat, say Viktor Shchenko, Ukraine's prosecutor general. Whoever was to blame, there was no dispute. Tuesday was the deadliest day by far in the political unrest. Riot police used water cannons, stun grenades, and other means to force their way through protesters, with video showing some of them toting shields and swinging sticks as they barreled through. Some demonstrators fought back, swinging what looked like baseball bats or using other means. Protesters also set fire to the headquarters of the ruling party of regions. Authorities accused them of firing guns at security forces. A CNN employee at the site saw demonstrators carrying pellet guns, though not with live ammunition. One video showed an armored personnel carrier charging toward demonstrators' barricades, only to be inundated by a flurry of what appeared to be Molotov cocktails. The vehicle then burst into flames. All the moving parts, different tactics, and raw emotions contribute to a violent, chaotic melee in the center of Ukraine's capital. officials warned people to stay indoors and shuttered metro stations to help control the situation. To help control the situation hardly calmed as night descended. Black smoke and bright flames from burning tires continued to rage around Independence Square, just a few blocks from Parliament. Small explosions regularly erupted all night, the product of protesters, fireworks, and perhaps the stun grenades that police have been using to clear the crowds. Demonstrators also worked through the night to build up their barricades by forming human chains to pass bricks, rocks, and wood up their front lines in anticipation of another police offensive. Ukrainian security forces did indeed move forward despite a barrage of rocks before halting their advance, for now at least. Kiev was the center of the action, just like it has been all winter, with 9 police officers, 11 protesters, and an employee from the ruling party's headquarters among those killed, according to officials. But it wasn't just the capital. Police confirmed the unrest has spread to western Ukraine, with protesters attacking police and local government offices in a number of regions. Lemkin calls for restraint. Shonka, Ukraine's prosecutor general, blamed protesters for the violence that he said that, in addition to those killed, injured at least 100 others. The organizers of a Rally Tuesday that descended into violence will be held accountable for every single person injured, every car burned, and every window broken, he said. Today we were able to see that only the government is interested in peaceful resolution of the situation, Shonka said. Opposition leaders should take the responsibility for everything happening in the street of Kiev today. Opposition leaders painted their supporters as the victims, not the aggressors. Klitschko, a former world-class boxer turned politician, accused police of cruelly shooting at people in central Kiev. And Arseny Yatsenyuk, an opposition leader from a party other than Klitschko's, made a public appeal to Yanukovych: do not let Ukraine become a country covered with blood. Pull back the police and announce a ceasefire, then we will negotiate. U.S. Vice President Joe Biden himself praised Yanukovych in a phone call with the White House, saying the government bears special responsibility to de-escalate the situation. Secretary of State John Kerry later backed up the vice president's words. He called for the Ukrainian government to halt violence immediately and reopen dialogue with the opposition. On the flip side, Russia's state-run RIA Novosti's story on the leftist Kiev unrest noted Moscow's persistent support for Yanukovych and its accusation made earlier this week from Foreign Ministry spokesman Alexander Lukashevich that Washington is trying to tell the authorities of a sovereign state what they should do next and how they should do it. Such international back and forth is especially significant in the Ukraine, given not only its geographic and political position, betwixt Europe and Russia, and the origins of the latest unrest. It began in November with Yanukovych's decisions to scuttle a European Union trade pact that the opposition hoped would bring the Ukraine closer to the West and improve its economic in the process. The next month, Russia's President Vladimir Putin announced that Russia would buy $15 billion in Ukrainian debt and slashed the press. Kiev paid for its gas. As the months rolled on, the conflict expanded beyond the long simmering discord over whether Ukraine should ally more with the West or with Russia. The opposition has pressed to change how the Eastern European nations' government operates, namely through constitutional and other reforms that would, among other things, shift powers away from its president and toward parliament. Holy water washes away sins at Ethiopia's Timkate Festival. Every week, Inside Africa takes its viewers on a journey across Africa, exploring the true diversity and depth of different cultures, countries, and regions. Follow host Errol Barnett on Twitter and Facebook. Gondar, Ethiopia, CNN. France had Lourdes, India has the Ganges. Ethiopia, meanwhile, has Gondar, situated about 450 miles north of Addis Ababa, Ababa, encapsulated by hills and tall trees, and dotted with 17th century relics from the city's glory days when it was the country's capital. Gondar today can seem somewhat remote. During the religious festival of Timcate, however, the city is inundated with pilgrims who come to reenact the baptism of Jesus in the River Jordan and take a dip in the holy water at the historical Faisal bath. Nearly two-thirds of Ethiopia's 94 million population is Christian, and the majority of those belong to the Orthodox Church. For them, Timcate, celebrating the Epiphany, celebrating the Epiphany is among the most important occasions of the year. It's a two-day affair that begins with a procession of tablets, holy replicas of the Ark of the Covenant, the sacred chest described in the book of Exodus as carrying the stone tablets on which the Ten Commandments were written. The tablets are wrapped in cloth and placed on the heads of Ethiopian Orthodox Christian priests who parade the streets en route to the bath. The priests, clad in ceremonial robes, are escorted by drums and by the clapping and singing of worshippers who hold an overnight vigil until dawn. There are services the following morning which culminate in the priests blessing the waters of the historic bath, while onlookers crowd every nook surrounding the bath, some getting a pristine view from nearby trees. When the priests are done, the mood turns jubilant, and the spectators rush to jump into the pool. The water is blessed in the name of the Holy Trinity, in the name of God. The water is now sacred, and the sick shall be cured, explains Ezra Adams, the head priest at the local Medhanan church. That's why the young people who jump in first get excited. It is a spiritual love, he adds. The plunge is so swift that some participants get better in the process, though most are unperturbed by a few scratches. I jumped from high above. Both one man who dived into the waters from one of the nearby trees. I was apprehensive, he adds. The branches could give away and you could fall on the rock edge of the pool, and there was a possibility I could have lost my life. But at this moment, I am doing what I feel good about, and that possibility of death doesn't scare me. The Timcade Festival dates back to the 16th century, but it was marked only in churches until the baptismal ceremonies were introduced. Explains Benjamin Tadler, a historian at the University of Gondar. The baptisms, usually held on January 19th, are celebrated differently in other parts of the country. There are three options for Timcade, say Tadler: to be immersed, to collect water from 3 pipes and pour it on people, or to collect water and sprinkle it. It depends on the availability of water. In Gondar, the first is implemented because of the existence of this very important building, he adds, referring to the stone bath, a UNESCO World Heritage Site built in 1632 for King Faisal. As the afternoon winds down, people begin to leave the pool and head back to the street, but the festivities aren't quite over. Each tablet is now paraded back to its respective church with crowds of onlookers eager to get one last look at them. Back at the churches is a different, quieter sign. Congregants fill the church grounds to listen in on a final service, and after a closing prayer, it's time to send the tablet back inside the church to its resting place. The locals will eventually return to their homes for a special feast, but in the meantime, the celebrations on the streets of Gondar continue. A chance for Orthodox Christians to celebrate and come together for one of the most sacred and festive days of the year. The Philippines' best beaches and islands. CNN. The Philippines has launched a global campaign to thank the world for its outpouring of help following last year's devastating typhoon. They killed more than 8,000 people. As part of the initiative, a series of electronic billboards were lit up with thank you signs in some of the world's most famous locations, including New York's Times Square, Tokyo's Shibuya Crossing, London's Piccadilly Circus, and Galleries Lafayette in Paris. Filipinos are also sending out messages of thanks on Twitter with the hashtag. The campaign, kicked off by the Philippines Department of Tourism, launched on February 8th, exactly 3 months after Super Typhoon Hanya hit. Given how gracious the nation is being, is a fine time to revisit one of the Philippines' best assets. Its 7,000 islands, edged by white sand, buffering turquoise water, filled with some of the world's most diverse marine life, and most of them are relatively unexplored. Of course, not everyone will agree on which one is best, but this is a good starting point. Disagree with our picks? Share your favorite Filipino island or beach in the comments box below. The first, El Nido Palawan. If Palawan is indeed the last frontier of the Philippines, as it's being dubbed, the coastal town of El Nido is a gateway to wild adventure. Sure, it's got powder fine beaches and clear waters, but the views are what really sell the place. Of the coast of El Nido are majestic, carved limestone formations, empty lagoons, marble cliffs, prehistoric caves, and waterfalls. All are easily explored. What to do? El Nido is a popular space for divers. Surrounding waters contain more than 50 species of coral and attract whales, whale sharks, sea cows, manta rays, dolphins, and endangered turtles. Boracay. The second, Boracay Island. White Beach is the place most frequently associated with Boracay, the most popular holiday destination in the Philippines. Its 4-kilometer stretch welcomes everyone, from beach bums to adventurers. At night, the beach comes alive with candle-lit sand castles, cozy restaurants, and bars that stay open till dawn. Away from White Beach are calmer resorts. There is a less boisterous side of Boracay, and it still offers sacred strips of sand, coves, caves, and cliffs. What to do? During the early months of the year, Boracay attracts hundreds of kiteboarders and windsurfers who compete in the International Funboard Cup. The rough waves and strong winds make Boracay an ideal destination for water sports fanatics. The third, Palawan Island, Cagayan Valley. This isolated island is a natural secret. Only the brave and persevering bother to visit. Glorious white sand surrounded by volcanic rocks on one side kiss blue-green waters on the other. Snorkeling and diving brings you face to face with coral gardens and a rich marine reserve. Palawan is all about raw beauty, but it takes some work to get there. Treks to be blessed with clear blue skies, patient companions, and trusted local guides. Getting to Getting to the island's most prized stretch of beach requires battling thorny grass, but muddy ground, and a mangrove forest. Uncharted Philippines offers a 3-day Palawi Island photography tour for $240 that includes transportation, accommodation, food, and guides. What to do? With no resorts or hotels, Palawi has only one real option: camping under the stars. Otherwise, visitors are left to explore homestay options. The fourth, Panglao Bohol. Once a sleepy island, Panglao is being roughed by travelers in search of gorgeous beaches. It's a refuge for those who appreciate a diverse menu of aquatic attractions. Options include dolphin watching, whale spotting, diving with barracudas, jackfish, sea snakes, and brilliant coral formations. Natural charms. In addition to its beaches, the island of Bohol is famous for its chocolate hills, an unusual rolling terrain of more than 1,000 dome-shaped hills. The hills are named of their brown color during dry season, when grass dries up. The world's smallest primate, the endangered Philippine tarsier, also inhabits the island. Random fact: years ago, a number of foreigners came to Panglao on holiday and never bothered to leave. Locals picked up their languages to better converse with the tourists. In addition to English, in Panglao, you have a good chance of meeting a local with a handy grasp of German, Swiss, or Japanese. The fifth, Bantayan Island, Cebu. Bantayan has remained relatively untouched by modern life, save for a smattering of foreigners who have taken up residence, sucked in by the island's white sands, aqua-colored waters, and red gold sunsets. Beers are cold and cheap. Townsfolk are hospitable, and the dreary troubles of the outside world are easily forgotten. Holy crowds. If you are after peace and quiet, don't plan a stay during the Holy Week before Easter. The island is crowded with Filipino travelers during this period, with rooms and services booked months in advance. What to do? Relax, action-packed it, and there are no 5-star hotels, no malls, no fashion-forward shopping centers. The sixth, Camarines, named after the local sea turtle. Caraman is as scenic as it is secluded. Stretches of white sand run between huge boulders and rock formations, scuba diving, island hoppers, and beach bums all covered here. Complementing the beaches are caves, waterfalls, freshwater pools, underground streams, and lagoons. Adventure Site, the Survivor reality show series and similar international programs had used Carimmon as a shooting location. Despite the locale's popularity with TV production companies, there are enough beaches to go around for everyone. What to do in the Philippines? Mountain climbers can trek to Mount Caglago's summit and take a terrific view of the Carimmon Islands and Isette. The mountain is a pilgrimage site for some, thanks to its gigantic statue of Our Lady of the Holy Rosary. The seventh, Samodivao, a burgeoning tourist destination. Samo is on a mission to get the word out on its 118-kilometer coastline of white sandy beaches. You know the highlights: pristine waters, large greens, rock formations, mangrove, and coconut palms. Numerous resorts provide a range of choice for visitors, from luxurious resorts to backpacker options. The Vanishing Island, this curious moniker, is the nickname of Shanipan Shoal, a tiny island that literally disappeared from sight during high tide. The only thing visible at high water is a single elevated cottage poking out of the sea. What to do in the Philippines? The vast Coral Garden Marine Park, a fish sanctuary filled with diverse marine life, makes Sambo a favorite among divers and snorkelers. The eighth, Siargao Islands, Surigao del Norte, known as the top surfing island in the Philippines. Siargao is often overlooked as a beachcomber's paradise. There are breaks for beginner surfers, moderate ones, and even pros looking for 3-meter high waves. For those with zero surf skills and no desire to acquire any, there are also pristine beaches which milder waves, perfect for sunning and swimming. What to do in the Philippines? Ideal days for surfing are between mid-August and mid-December, when the swell is most consistent. Beginners should visit when waves are smaller, around April or May. The ninth, Great Santa Cruz Island, Zamboanga. On Great Santa Cruz Island, pulverized red coral washed up from the sea floor mixes with white sand to produce a pink hued beach. In a different version of perfection, the powdery beach competes with the blue and green shades of the sea. Some parts of the beach are lovely in their undeveloped state. There are sites of civilization, souvenirs, nipa huts, and restaurants. Beach visits are limited to day trips, so you have to squeeze everything into a few hours. Swim, sunbath, snorkel, dive, even fish for your lunch. Just don't mistake serenity for safety. There's a deep drop in the sea just meters from shore. What to do in the Philippines? The island is just a boat ride away from the city proper, but getting there requires extra precautions due to local threats. Only those with a tourist permit from the Department of Tourism in Zamboanga City can visit. The permit fee includes armed security escort. Why the need for security? According to the Department of Tourism's regional office, it's a preventative measure on the security situation in Zamboanga City. There are no militant or terroristic activities recently. Although there were reported shooting incidents, these were intended to specific victims due to personal grudges. The city is very vibrant and relatively peaceful. As a precaution, check with your embassy for security threats before traveling. The 10th, Pengatpat Bangui, Ilocos Norte. Along the northern tip of the island of Luzon sits the coastal town of Pengatpat. It's a quiet, sleepy, and rural community with little overt commercialism. Perhaps because it takes time and effort to reach Pengatpat, the wide and inviting beaches are usually empty, making them ideal for those who enjoy mixing solitude with sun, sand, and surf. A row of windmills down the coast from Pengatpat in the town of Bangui makes for a picturesque, if not unusual, backdrop for a Filipino beach. See above photo. What to do in the Philippines? Parts of Pengatpat are exposed to winds that blow in from both the South China Sea and Pacific Ocean, making the waves ideal for surfers, especially from July to October. Windsurfers and kiteboarders are starting to take notice of this northern gateway. Getting there. General tip concerning all Filipino domestic airlines. If you are not in a hurry to book, watch out and promote ferries on their website as fares can drop considerably. The first, El Nido. Several airlines fly from Manila to El Nido, either through a commercial airline or via chartered plane. Flight time approximately 75 minutes. Domestic flights from El Nido to Manila. Sea Air. Chartered plane from El Nido to Manila. Island Transvolger. Charter airline of El Nido Resort. Their guests get priority reservations. Depending on where you are headed, from the El Nido Airport, tricycles can take you to El Nido town. Ferries sail from a nearby marina to the islands, or your resort can make arrangements to meet you at the airport. Domestic flights from Puerto Princesa to Manila. Alternatively, the following airlines fly to Puerto Princesa, the capital of Palawan. Paul Express, Cebu Pacific, Air Philippines, Air Asia. From the Puerto Princesa Airport, you need to travel to El Nido by road. Take a multi-cab or jeep to the San Jose Terminal. 20 minutes. At the station, find the El Nido-bound buses. There are open-air, non-air-conditioned buses. Approximately 8 hours with stops at Tai and Rosas towns. About P300 for a one-way trip. Best to book seats and check schedules in advance. 3T Transport Wing Ulan Joyliner. The St. Joseph Terminal is also the departure point for shuttle vans. Pre-book to reserve a seat. El Nido Baltic and Air Cafe. The following vans are air-conditioned and more comfortable than buses. Approximately 6 hours. P600. Each passengers. P7,000 for entire van. Fort Worley Shuttle Company. Xavier Shuttle Company. Ulan Joy. The second, Boracay. The most direct way to get to Boracay is to fly to Caticlan, Panay Island, either from Manila or Cebu City. Domestic flights Caticlan, from Caticlan to Manila. Paul Express, Cebu Pacific, Air Philippines, Air. Domestic flights from Caticlan to Cebu, Air Philippines. From the Caticlan Airport, take a tricycle to the Caticlan Jetty Port. Alternatively, fly to Calibo first. Domestic flights from Calibo to Clark Pampanga, Air Philippines, Paul Express, Senior Air Asia, international flight to Calibo. Philippine Airlines also flies from Hong Kong to Calibo and Seoul Calibo. AirAsia flies to Calibo from Incheon, Busan, Shanghai, and Taipei. From Calibo Airport, travel by road about 2 hours. There are many vans outside the airport that go directly from the airport to the jetty port in Catchem, approximately P300 for every passenger. Buses are available as well at the airport. You can take your chance with what is at the terminal, T200, or book ahead via travel agency such as Southwest Tours, which can organize the entire journey to Boracay, P300 to P450, including boat transfer. From Catchem Jetty Port, there will be many banks, ferry boats, ready to take you to White Beach, Boracay, about 15 minutes away. Pay a terminal tax, P75, and an environmental fee, P75, at the port before boarding. You will need to wade in the water a bit, so dress accordingly. For a small amount, boatmen will carry your luggage to shore. Tricycles on the island will take you to your resort. Cost is roughly P20 for every passenger, but may rise depending on the location of the resort. The third, Palawi. From Manila, board a bus headed to Santa Ana, approximately 14 to 16 hours. GV Florida transport only one with direct route to Santa Ana from Manila and to Tuguegarao. Otherwise, fly or take a bus to Tuguegarao City. Bus to Tuguegarao. Victory liner, approximately 10 hours. Domestic flights from Tuguegarao to Manila. Air Philippines, Cebu Pacific. When you get to Tuguegarao, take a tricycle and tell the driver to take you to the van terminal bound for Santa Ana. The van trip will take about 3 hours. At Santa Ana, buy supplies for your island trip, then take a tricycle to the San Vicente port. Register at the Visitors Bureau. Hire a boat, P600, and a guide, P400 to 2000, to take you to Punta Verde, Pauri Island. Ask for a return trip. Pay the port fee, P50, register again, this time in the community logbook. Panglao. Hop on a plane to Tagbilaran City if you are coming from Manila. Domestic flights from Tagbilaran to Manila. Paul Express, Cebu Pacific, Air Philippines, AirAsia, or take an international flight to Cebu City. Mactan Cebu International Airport, then get on a fast ferry to Tagbilaran City, approximately hours. The ports are quite near the airport. Ferry services from Cebu to Tagbilaran. Supercade OceanJet. Upon arriving in Tagbilaran City, a cab or a habo motorcycle with driver can take you to Panglao. The fifth, Bantayan. Fly to Cebu City on either a domestic or international flight. International flights to Cebu Pacific via Hong Kong, Singapore, Korea, and Japan. Silk Air via Singapore. Malaysia Airlines via Kuala Lumpur and Kota Kinabalu. Cathay Pacific via Hong Kong. Asiana Airlines via Korea. Korea Air via Korea. Qatar Airways via Qatar. Domestic flights to Cebu are available from most cities in the Philippines as well. Upon arrival at the airport in Cebu City, take a taxi and head for the North Bus Terminal. Make sure you get a metered taxi and that the driver stops the meter. Get out of the cab if the driver won't comply. Safety tip. Hang on to your luggage while getting out of the cab. If your bags are in the trunk, don't let the driver open it until you are ready to grab them. And don't let insistent baggage handlers take your items if you don't need them. At the North Bus Terminal, take a bus or shuttle to Hanaya, approximately 3 hours. The service bus is recommended. Look for the buses that are white and yellow with a sign saying air conditioned in front, and another sign saying Hanaya on the side. Make sure you take a bus that is scheduled to leave no later than 2 p.m. to give you enough time to catch the ferry to Bantayan. Do not let your luggage out of your sight while on the bus. Alternatively, you can pay extra for a taxi. To take you all the way to Hanaya, you can hang gold, but it should cost approximately P2,000. Driver covers fuel costs at Hanaya. The last ferry leaves at 5:30 p.m. for Santa Fe, Bantayan Island, approximately 45 to 90 minutes, depending on seacraft. Ferry services from Hanaya to Bantayan. Super Shuttle Ferry. The sixth, Caramon. Take a bus or a domestic flight to Naga City. Head to Sabang Port by road, then take a passenger boat to your chosen island. Buses to Naga, Penafansia Tours, Fiotrenco, Victory Liner, Exarac Bus Lines, domestic flight from Manila to Naga, Port Express, Air Philippines, Cebu Pacific, Air Asia. From Naga Airport, take a P10 tricycle ride to Naga Public Terminal. At the terminal, you can rent a van for Sabang Port or take a bus to Goa, approximately 2 hours. P80 at Goa is a route for the jeepney that goes to Sabang Port. From Sabang Port, take a boat bound for Guijalo Port, approximately 2 hours. P120 for every person. The last boat leaves at 2 p.m. Get ready to wait or be carried to reach land area. Once there, take a tricycle to the town proper, 10 minutes away. The best, easiest, and most convenient way to enjoy the trip is to let your resort or the Camarines Tourism Office coordinate your transfers. The seventh, Samo. Fly to Davao City on either a domestic or international flight. International flight to Davao, Cebu Pacific Airlines via Hong Kong, Singapore, Korea, and Japan. Silk Air via Singapore. Domestic flights to Davao from several cities in the Philippines. Cebu Pacific Airlines, Air Philippines, Paul Express. Take a short cab ride to one of 3 entry points to St. Mark's Island, depending on where you are headed to. Star Anna, Wharf, Sasa KM, 11 Wharf or Igacos Ferry Terminal. Ask your resort for advice on this one. The 8th, Siargao. There are direct flights to Siargao Island. Siargao Airport is 45 minutes away from General Luna, the location of the popular Cloud Night Beach. Tricycles or motorbikes are available. The trip will cost around P150. Or if you can spot a tricycle line, board a tricycle waiting to be filled with passengers for P30 for every passenger. Domestic flights from Manila to Siargao Island. Cebu Pacific Airlines, AirAsia, domestic flight from Cebu to Siargao Island. Cebu Pacific Airlines. The 9th, Great Santa Cruz Island. First, fly to Zamboanga City. Domestic flight from Manila to Zamboanga City. Paul Express, Cebu Pacific Airlines, Air Philippines. Domestic flights from Cebu to Zamboanga City. Cebu Pacific Airlines. Domestic flights from Davao to Zamboanga City. Cebu Pacific Airlines. Air Philippines. In the Zamboanga City, book your day trip to Great Santa Cruz through the Regional Tourism Office and Lantaka Hotel by the Sea, NS Valderrama Street near City Hall. The 10th, Pagapad from Manila. Take a domestic flight to Loac, approximately 45 minutes. Domestic flights from Laos to Manila, Palm Express, Cebu Pacific Airlines. At LAG, a free shuttle runs from the airport to city proper, or hop on a bus from Manila to LAG. Outbus Transport, Farinas Transit Company, Franco Frederico Lines, Maria de Leon Transit, Portas Transportation, Philippine Railroad. In LAG bus station, ask for the bus that is bound for Calabria, Cagayan. Ask the conductor to drop you off at Pagapad, but the Duang Market, approximately 1 hour. Buses from Manila direct to Pagapad are also available, though the travel time may take 10 to 12 hours. GV Florida Transport, RCJ Bus Lines. This article was first published in 2012, updated 2014.